And when your individual identity has begun to be replaced by this universal identity, you move into the final stage, which Guru has called Sachkhand. Now, an interesting point to note is all the khands so far have been standalone verses. They've been verses which have their own number, verse number. Interestingly, Sachkhand doesn't have its own verse number. At the end of Karam Khand, we don't see the verse ending and a new verse beginning. And that's because we see in Karam Khand that the ego has already dissolved. Karam Khand ki bani jor tithe hor na koi hor. That in that state of grace, you've already lost your ego. And that is the people who are the Jodh Mahabals, who are the great warriors of life. Because din mein Ram raya bharpur. Within them, that Ram, that oneness, that divine being has already taken over. So interestingly, Karam Khand leads on to Sachkhand. And Sachkhand is an extension of Karam Khand. And we see that because Guru Nanak Dev Ji has specifically chosen not to end Karam Khand and begin Saram Khand as a separate, distinct phase. So, if Karam Khand is from the perspective of the individual, if it is the final steps in the story of that spiritual development of the individual, it is written still talking about that person. What is his perspective? What is their perspective of that spiritual journey? What is it like to be controlled by the divine when the divine takes over your body? Sachkhand is where there is now no distinction between the individual and the oneness itself. The story is now no longer about the individual because that story of the individual has ended. Guru Nanak Dev Ji starts by saying, Sachkhand vasai nirankar. Sach means permanence, the state of permanence. Sachkhand. Khand has a sihari, unlike what we've seen in the previous use of the word khand in the 4 steps. So here it means Sachkhand vich, within Sachkhand. That's what sihari means, usually at the end of a noun. So we can translate this line to say, Sachkhand vasai, within the state of permanence resides Nirankar. So the word Nirankar means Nir Akar. Akar means that which is created, something that is manifested. We saw it right at the beginning when we said Hukmi Hovan Akar. Through Hukam, things are created. Creation is created. Nirankar is that which is beyond creation, which has never been created. So it is that creator of creation, that which itself is unborn. And another way to look at Nirankar, the most popular translation, is formless. Because nothing has been created, it has no form. It has no way to identify it as something specific, as a specific form. So Nirankar can also be translated as formless. So now we're talking about something that is beyond form, beyond the universe itself. So this formless one from whom all other creation emanates. And that formless one exists in a state of permanence. It is complete, it is perfect, and it is all that exists. Sachkhand vasai nirankar. Within the state of permanence resides the formless one. So, the formless being, this oneness, exists completely independently of form. It isn't dependent on form. It isn't separate from form either, but it isn't dependent on form. And in looking at various kind of religious philosophies and ideas about the divine entity, in English and in Western theology, this is known as panentheism. The form and formless are part of the same being. But the one, that divine supreme being, isn't dependent on the form. So that means that when the universe was created, the oneness didn't increase in any way. It was just the oneness changing form. There was not more God when the universe was created. And when all creation is destroyed, it doesn't take anything away from the oneness. The oneness doesn't reduce in any way. It is complete, it is perfect in its own way. And so now you'll see that this is where the story of the saint, of the meditator, has ended. This is no longer the story of the saint. This is not about their progression, it isn't about their experience. And the reality is that this has never been the story of the saint. This has always been the story of the one. It began with Ik Oankar, and it now is beginning to be concluded with a formless Nirankar state. So the story that began from Ik, which is the Nirankar form, the formless being, Oankar is when that being had a desire to manifest itself into form. And that's where Oankar comes in. But it is not about the Oankar. It isn't about the form. The form is secondary. Or the form is just another facet of the formless. So, nothing that we've seen so far has actually been the story of us. This isn't the story of us. This isn't actually about our life. Although there's so much in Japji Sahib that we can take away, it is always the story of the one. And all the stories that we have ever identified with in our life are actually the stories of the one. All the events in our life, all of our history, all of our memories, all of that has never been about you. It has just been the play of the universe. And this is the one who is doing all, who is in all, and whose story is being told. And this is its permanent form, this is its permanent nature. It has no individual form and it has all forms. In Japji Sahib, Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, Anek hai, phir ek hai. It is multitude and then it is also singular. And so, this is how it exists. This is what its expression is. This is where it is. It resides in this permanence, in this stillness, in this serenity of its own nothingness. And all the forms that we see around us are just expressions of that one. So if you want to know where God is, all you have to do is open your eyes. Everything that you're seeing is God. Everything that you're witnessing and hearing is God, and the one looking is also God. The one looking through your eyes is also God. So the God that you've been looking for has never been far away. Guru Nanak Dev Ji uses the word Nirankar here. Sachkhand Vasai Nirankar. And by doing so, in the Khands we have seen Guru Nanak Dev Ji reference Pauri 16 again and again. That Pauri which is Panch Pravan, Panch Pradhan. And the reason we see that again being referenced is because Guru Nanak Dev Ji here in Sachkhand talks about Nirankar, and Pauri 16 ends with Jo Tud Pave Sai Palikar Tu Sada Salamat Nirankar. Whatever is pleasing to you is your great work. You are forever steady and formless. Sada Salamat. You are forever, you are steady, and you are Nirankar. You are formless. And again, the same sentiments are being echoed here. Sachkhand, in the realm of permanence, is where you reside. Guruji carries on and says, Sachkhand vasai nirankar kar kar vekhe nadar nihal. Forming and creating, kar kar vekhe, by forming and creating, it observes nadar nihal, in euphoric grace. Forming and creating, it watches in a euphoric grace. Form is being created out of formlessness. Everything that you see around you that has come from somewhere, this is saying, where has that come from? Look at the number of stars in the sky, the galaxies, the solar systems, the nebula. They just continue. In any direction you look, they continue on and on and on. Where has all that come from? The essence where that has come from is something that was already alive. And that which is creating all of these things is observing it and is giving out its grace, and it's in a state of euphoria. It is in a bliss. That oneness is in nihal, a euphoric bliss. And to those who it has given its grace, nadar, nihal, remember the name of the last verse, the last khand, was the state of grace. Karam khand. So here it's saying, whoever has been given that nadar, whoever has been given that grace, they are also in that euphoric state. They are also completely blissed in their mind, in their consciousness.